just realized it's really only men who are obsessed with the one who got away. Anthony just gave me this teeny tiny harmonica that he also had in his bag of magic instruments. So thank you. New instrument. Okay, so I just connected some of these dots yesterday after I was talking about me and many people I know, but especially women, being grateful that men screwed us over because they actually did us a favor because we deserve better than them. And then based on the comments I got on on that video across YouTube and TikTok, I didn't realize that it's usually just men who are like the one who got away. Now, when I know women who date men who are kind of like stuck on a guy or like keep checking his Facebook and all that stuff, it's usually because he screwed her over, right? Like, we can't figure out, why did they do that? Why did they reject me? Why did they cheat on me? Why did they blah, 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 fill in the blank? Why were they a little pecker? And really, it comes down to entitlement. Everything, I swear to God. This is why I like men who are like, whatever, patriarchy hurts men more. Yeah, like what? Like racism hurts white people more. Okay, whatever. But absolutely, it does hurt men, because that entitlement that comes with whichever oppressive group is actually dehumanizing and actually cuts you off from authentic connections and robs you of your humanity. But you don't suffer the consequences of that as much as somebody being oppressed, unalive, and all the terrible things that come with being the victim of that. But, yeah, of course men suffer from patriarchy because your entitlement is what sabotages all your relationships. That and unhealed trauma and blah, 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 escapism and, all the things I talk about all the time. But I got to that, and I want to go over a story that is like perfectly shows what I'm trying to talk about. When I really think about the conversations around the one who got away, it's almost always men who are thinking like that. And that usually comes down to a woman they did not appreciate, didn't treat well, and she left him as she should, or a woman that they never were even dating and they thought they were entitled to, or a woman that just straight up cheated on and or left. I mean, how many times do men go on Reddit and are like, I had an affair and I got my affair partner pregnant and now I'm trapped with her, but I really regret it. I want to be with my wife and my kids. And people are like, sorry, you don't deserve your family, and she's the one who got away, but she didn't get away. You pushed her away. You forced her hand to break up with you, or you straight up abandoned her, but she didn't get away. Even the framing of that is like you being like, it's a hostage situation. You're a trapper. Because that's what they do. It takes so much courage for women to leave these men. And we have to threaten them over and over and over. Hey, do you think maybe you could take me on a date? Do you think maybe you could remember my birthday? Do you think you could literally do anything to help out with the kids or anything around the house or make me feel valued as a partner instead of an unpaid laborer and schmegs worker? Nothing against schmegs work, by the way. But a lot of women are just, unpaid schmegs workers. Do way more work because they got to do all this other stuff and be their banker and all this crap too. Honestly, actually, and maybe I'm going to talk about this another. I think women who hate schmegs workers, it's because you actually know that you are one. You're just not getting paid. You're not getting compensated. So you're jealous. I don't know. That's what I think a lot of it boils down to that. But anyway, we are all schmegs workers on some level. We couldn't have money. We couldn't have money. What do you call that? That's a transaction. Until just recently, we couldn't have money. What do you call that? Goods and services in exchange for, right? Anyway, gosh, okay, clearly I need to make that video because if you have differing opinions, that's fine. Don't write it in my comments though. I'm going to delete them because I respect schmegs workers and want them to be safe. Okay. Anyway, these men, they are the ones full of regret. They're the ones just wish they could capture her again and make her stay, even though he doesn't deserve her. And then the other reason why she got away is because you didn't even see her humanity. You just, and that's like, when you are the person with the power, you act a lot like a narcissist. And I know we overuse that term, and There is literally narcissistic personality disorder. And then there's the whole spectrum of people who act like that, but don't actually have that disorder. And men act a lot like that if they don't check their entitlement and don't unpack this stuff. And so a lot of times men will idealize a woman. And as soon as she shows any sign of being an actual human, that of this person on a pedestal, then they're tired of her. So the one who got away, they don't usually even know that woman. It's all a fantasy because, again, they just love their escapism. So do we, right? Limerence, it's all kinds of things go into this. But a lot of women will plan, I did a video of this, their whole lives around an imaginary boyfriend. It doesn't even exist. I haven't even met him yet. So we are perfect. We are capable of doing the whole fantasy thing too. And I'm just talking about cis-het relationships because I know those intimately, but I am sure that this can be seen across all kinds of different relationships. Feel free to add your input if you are at a different intersection there. But let's go into this story of the one who got away. Let's listen to this man speak for himself. This is the Dear Annie column. Dear Annie, when I was in college, I dated someone for a year. It was great. I respected and loved her in every way. College usually means between 18 and 22, so like the whole brain hasn't even developed yet. But okay. She went on to complete her studies and I started working. We then went our separate ways. The reason being to give her more space to study and for me to get settled in my career. When I finally felt ready to settle, I tried to contact her again. I called the number I'd saved to get in touch with her. Her sister gave me her contact details. When I called, her husband answered. I took it like a man and moved on, I thought. Okay, I'm going to stop you right here. When men say, like, take it like a man, do you know what I think of? You mean take it like a whiny little, like a king baby. Because men don't take things they don't take things well. They, like, cut our heads off. They dismember us. They throw our bodies in rivers. They gaslight us. They punch us in the face. They annihilate the whole family. We know how men take things, and so when you take it like a man, maybe you should stop saying that, because I'm assuming the worst. Because men don't usually move on without punishing or circling back as soon as she's happy, or at the very least, moving directly into another relationship without ever working on yourself or going to a therapist or, literally doing any work, reading books to try to better yourself. Instead, you just carry it into the next relationship. That's what I think of when you say, like a man. I had relationships after that, but it seems I never got over it because I can't get her out of my mind. Even at 57. 57. 54-7. He was, again, 18, let's say 20. So that's somewhere in the middle. 37 years. All the women that you dated for those 37 years, you're still thinking of her? An 18 and 22-year-old? This is what I'm talking about. He dated this woman for a year. And he was like possibly still a teenager. And then he's comparing women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, assuming he's not, dating teenagers still, which isn't dating, by the way. He's comparing all of them to someone who's between 18 and 22. And I wonder why you're single and miserable. And 1 year. Like, you didn't live with this person, I'm guessing. You were with them a year when you were in college. You don't even know them. I never got married. Shocker. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Whatever your name is. Thank you for not dragging a woman into this with marriage, or worse yet, children. And I can't seem to find the right person. That's because you don't even know yourself, bro. Have you ever worked on yourself? You're still pining after an 18 to 22-year-old. I know this sounds unfair, but no one else matches up to her. Unfair isn't really the right word. I'm thinking spectrum. I'm thinking you have the emotional maturity of a teenager. Thinking self-pity, pity party pants, unrealistic expectations. I'm thinking inchmel, full on. How do I get out of this hole? Bro, you're 57. You don't even want a woman. You want a hospice wife and a delusion. I swear to y'all. Once men get into like 40s and 50s, they're like, oh crap, all those years of not investing anything in community and friendships and relationships and all those things, the packers are coming home to roost, baby. You're screwed, buddy. You're screwed. And now you think this woman who's married you should get her. Again, don't even know her. I can't settle for relationships just to ease the pain and loneliness. That's what you've been doing. What about all those women you dated? What was that? Because the whole time you're with them, you're fantasizing over a teenager. Sounds like your standards aren't that high, and yet unbelievably high at the same time. I deserve her, but I'll date anybody to do this. I swear, y'all, the more I started realizing when men say things that they're not doing or don't want to do, that's actually what they're doing. They admit what they're doing all the time. Like I said, extreme example of this, when my ex out of nowhere was like, I don't hit women. And I'm like, I didn't think you did. And was bragging about that. No man who doesn't hit women would ever think to need to state that. Okay? So this right here tells me that he has been doing that. But these women probably broke up with him. I don't even believe this man. I believe the reason why he didn't get married is because all of them were like, well, I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm just not an 18-year-old college student, I guess. He just I bet that they didn't settle for you, bro. That's why you're not married. Not because you had some high standard where you're not going to settle for anyone to ease the pain and loneliness. It's just that none of these women were your 18-year-old girlfriend that you don't even know. And so you probably exploited them, made them not feel loved and appreciated, and they probably left you. Or you sabotaged it and left them because you thought you could do better. And at 57, you're like, crap, I'm about to be on Medicare. I guess I'm old, but I don't look like George Clooney, who really isn't all that great anyway. But you know what I mean. Silver fox doesn't exist. Men age terribly. Oh my God, he's in dreaming mode right now. I don't know. Oh, look, there's his little paws. Okay, well, sorry. Nap break. I prefer having oh, here we go. I prefer having female friends. Don't just assume that men who prefer female friends are healthier than men who don't. What that says to me, I mean, I do understand that a lot of men, including my husband, wanted deep connections with people, and he had a hard time for a while finding that. And so he tended to hang out with women, like cishet men. A lot of them were just so toxically masculine, it wasn't fulfilling for him. However, that has changed because he's put a lot of effort into making these friends. And he started 2 men's groups, so he has male friends. But this, I understand this, but this is how my dad was. And he didn't respect women at all. I mean, he thought he did. And he was surrounded by all these amazing, strong women. But at the end of the day, it's because women provide emotional labor for men. And especially like more sensitive men who are not like macho. They love hanging around women. I mean, my dad would go and hang out at O'Charlie's. He would literally go, because he didn't want to eat alone. And every woman in his life has always worked really hard. So he'd go and hang out with waitresses. He loved hanging out with waitresses, women who were paid to talk to him and understand him and hang out with him. Men love this. As a waitress myself, I can't tell you how many men hang out at restaurants because they don't have friends and they need women who will listen to them and they can talk to them. Now, then these men usually end up hitting on us, which is annoying. But it's usually older men, but just men in general. Anyway, this is a big red flag for me. I prefer having female friends because they let me exploit them. But nothing serious until I meet Ms. Right. Oh, you want her to take your last name too, huh? At 57. Oh, look who's awake. I swear to God. There is no reason to take these men's name if you're not going to have kids with them, or there's not something that you need for security for their name. But at 57, there's no reason for her to take your name, bro. There's another entitlement right there. Oh my God, I'm getting old. My eyes are so bad. Okay, until I meet Mr. Ray. I think too much about her during my alone. You're not thinking about her. You were daydreaming. You do not care about her. I swear to God, men think that obsessing about a fantasy is them thinking about her. No, you are thinking about her as an object, as a tool for your self-gratification, whether that be or just, fantasy. And we do this too. I think all humans do this. But men with entitlement and all of the terrible things that come with that, just like, I deserve this woman. I swear to God, this is why I do movie reviews. Every single movie is about some loser who ends up with this amazing woman he doesn't deserve. And then we wonder how we get men like this. They all see this. Revenge of the Nerds, Beauty and the Beast, you name it. It's all about dating down and dating losers. And they tell us that we are waiting to be saved. During my alone time, which is quite frequent. But yeah, again, you literally just want this woman because probably all these other women left you. You're a loner. You got nothing to offer. You have no friends, no community, because that takes a lot of effort and time and sacrifice too. How many times have you picked up a friend from the airport? How many times have you helped someone move and didn't expect them to fork you? Like, creating community and friendship is so much work, but it's very rewarding. And it's not work because you're spending time together. It's showing up for people, and you spend all this time alone, wanking off to a fantasy? Yeah, you are dying alone like the rest of them. They're all gonna die alone, y'all. That's why they're like, cats. Wall, table. It's all projection of their own fear, of their own reality, and the little pecker's coming home to roost. I hope she's happily married. No, you don't. And I don't think I yearn to rekindle with her. Yes, you do. But you know that she's not going to leave her husband for you because that's the dumbest thing ever. It's been like 30 years. Is there perhaps another deep-seated reason for my Okay, this is a man who needs so much help before he can have an actual relationship that's healthy. It's like it never occurred to him. So he writes into some lady on the internet, Annie. Help, Annie, do you think maybe my obsession with this person that I barely know from 30 years ago, maybe it's about something else? This is probably the first time he's crazy in love. That's what he calls himself. This is the first time crazy in love has ever even questioned this obsession, even though it seems to have sabotaged all of his relationships for decades now. There is no helping a man like this. This man is beyond help in terms of being able to probably ever have real love. And I don't think anyone's beyond help, but this level of like, wow, like you have so much work to do on yourself and your entitlement that I just doubt he's going to be willing to do that. Well, I believe it is never too late to change, but I also believe I'm a realist. And a lot of men, especially this age, they're like, oh, well, I don't really want to do all that work, so I'll just die. Or harass women on the internet. Or, call up my sister and make her take care of me. Or whatever. Which is, again, why when men's wives die first, they don't die of a broken heart. They die from, like, laziness, which is rooted in entitlement. But crazy in love here. Crazy in love. I hope you get help. I hope you work on yourself. But I just don't get the feeling that you're going to be willing to do that or spend the money that it's going to require, because you're probably already got too many vices that are more important than the money investing in yourself. You can't afford therapy because you got to buy a six-pack every day, right? So what does Andy say? Dear crazy in love, you're dealing with unresolved feelings and idealizing a past relationship, which is quite common, especially after one as impactful as yours. Annie, come on. You are as impactful. They dated a year. This dude in college. Come on, Annie. You are giving this man way too much credit. Annie, you can do better. The fact that no one seems to measure up to this woman, though, indicates that you're comparing all of your more recent relationships to an idealized version of her rather than seeing each new person for their unique quality, which in turn creates a barrier to forming new meaningful connections. Agreed. Reflect on what you truly miss about that relationship. Is it the companionship, shared interest, or simply the way you felt about yourself at the time? Oh, yeah, I bet that's what it is. You were young. He's probably like not taking care of himself, doesn't feel good about himself. And this isn't even about her. This is about him wishing he was young. And now he's full of regret and he's lonely. He's like, if only I had, that I hadn't let her get away. Even though I literally let her get away because what did you do? I have questions. Crazy in love. Let's look. Because she went on to complete her studies and I started working. We went our separate ways. The reason being to give her more space to study. You broke up with her, didn't you? You sabotaged your own relationship. And now, just like so many men, you're like, the one who got away, I deserve her now, even though I literally broke up with her to do what? What? Give her space? What does that mean? I don't believe this. That's what you probably told her. But you're not talking to her. You're talking to women who understand men are full of crap. And we know that this is like something else. You probably wanted to sow your wild oats. So the thing is that when these men write in, I'm like, okay, but like, I wish this ex could tell us what really happened. Because we would get a whole different story. And, it's not like he didn't even go into, he's like, it was great. And I respected and loved her in every way. But we don't even know what that way was. You like the way she touched your... You like the way she looked at you? You like the way she made you feel? Because that's not love. That's just you benefiting from someone pouring into you. So even his description, it sounds like, meh. We don't know anything about this woman. She sounds great. Crazy in love. It's crazy in limerence. It's crazy in entitlement, maybe. Crazy in delusion, but not love. This ain't love. It never was. That's your problem, crazy in love. Here we go. A good therapist can help you figure out why you're holding on to this history and develop strategies to open your heart to new love. Remember, it's about finding someone who fits the person you are now, not who you were. Yeah, but Annie, that's the problem. Nobody wants who he is now. He doesn't even like who he is now. Which brings me to my final point. These men don't even like themselves. They don't know themselves. They aren't capable of love if they don't. I don't believe that you have to be fully healed and fully love yourself to be able to love. We heal within relationships with the right person. But I'll speak from personal experience here. I did not love any of the people I dated until Anthony. I thought I did twice. One of them I was just gaslit and it was like trauma responses and like addiction, but that definitely wasn't love. The second one was like me trying to talk myself into love. It was more of a friendship, but it wasn't like love. Another one, breadcrumb guy, limerence. Like when I think of all the men I've dated, none of them were love. I didn't even know what love was because I was still operating in all trauma responses and I didn't even know myself in terms of like my inner worlds. I knew myself and all these things I'd worked on, but I really didn't know how to be honest instead of like agreeable and people pleasing or avoiding conflict. They didn't know any of that stuff. And so I would even argue that the men that I was with, they couldn't love me because they didn't even see me. I wasn't fully myself with them. So this man needs to do a lot of work on himself. And besides all the inner work that just humans have to do, all of us have to do, this man has a big old case of king baby entitlement that is also standing in his way, because you cannot love someone that you exploit, someone you feel entitled to, someone you use, someone that you think you're better than. That is never love. That's not love. It's a lot of things, but that's not real love. Only real love can happen when you see someone for who they are and all their humanity and they see you back. That's when that can happen. Anything beyond that is just working stuff out, doing your best, but usually it's somewhere in like codependency. Anyway, I'm not saying that only men have this one that got away syndrome, but usually myself and the women that all the women I've listened to, usually who date men, it's because we blame ourselves for something they did, or we blame ourselves for not liking them enough, or sometimes we sabotage our own relationships too. I've certainly done that. But in the end, Like I said, every single man who's ever left me, I never thought, oh, that's the one who got away. Or every man who's ever rejected me. It hurt like hell. But usually after, I don't know, a few months, several months, I was like, woo, I really missed a train wreck with that one. Wow, like this dude sucks even more than I realized I ever could, because hindsight is 20/20. And then sometimes we even see what they do to their next partner and we're like, woo, I am so lucky. But we usually don't feel that entitlement to that person the way men feel entitled to women. And we also aren't usually the ones who want to be lied to quite as much. Because if we do tell these men what they need to work on in order for this to work out, defensive and then do nothing or do the bare minimum and then get blindsided when we leave them. And then they're like, the one who got away. You pushed her. You kicked her away, bro. Because you're a little pecker. Anyway, thanks for being here. My Patreon starts on May 1st after my live at 7 p.m. French time. Be there, be square, or work, or whatever you got to do. And thanks for being here. Et voila.